What's up everyone, back with another comic book unboxing video. Today I'm going to take a look at my latest order from The Coolest Stuff. If you haven't seen it before, I have another video on my channel where I give an unboxing of an order from the same people. And what I love about this eBay seller is they have what amounts to 50-cent comic books in an eBay seller. I've never seen this before. Occasionally I'll see like $1 or something, but this is the first time I've come across actual 50-cent comic books in an eBay seller. And I've gotten several orders from them. I think this might have been my 6th one. And every time there's at least one thing that has me just blown away. So I'm very excited to show off my recent order. So let's get to it. As you can see, I've actually already, they package things very, very well. It's all like very nicely wrapped and there's a ton of tape on it. So I've gone through and I've cut it all open. I've organized the books to make it a little bit easier. So it's not a true first impression unboxing, but it's pretty close. So let me just get this stack out of here. All right, so the whole order was $18.82. That includes shipping. I'm not sure exactly how many books there are here, but you'll see. So starting right off the top, we have Hunter and the Age of Magic, number 21. This is a series I've been kind of lightly collecting. I really like the original Books of Magic miniseries from Vertigo. The ongoing series is pretty good, and it was enough to kind of make me interested in the larger realm. So I've kind of been collecting. I have yet to actually read any of these Hunter the Age of Magic. I just like the overall premise of having the Tim Hunter character older. Plus, I find it all the time in discount bins, so it's a kind of a logical purchase for me. Next up, we've got x-statix, and they had a ton of x-statix. There's going to be a bunch in here. This is a really cool series if you've never tried it. It actually is the tail end of the original volume of X-Force where these characters debuted. It's Peter Milligan and Michael Allred doing the art, and it's just over-the-top weird. It's like a reality show kind of series, but it's a bunch of mutants with like very bizarre powers. It's got really good storytelling, and I'm also a huge Michael Allred fan, so it's really cool. So I got issues 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, and 26. Now, there was a lot of gaps in those, but I actually already owned a lot of them. The seller had a very solid run of x-statix and even some of the older X-Force issues, so that was pretty cool. Next up, we have X-Men Phoenix number 1. I've got issues 2 and 3 of this, so it's great that this is the last issue I needed, so I completed the series. For those of you who don't know, Rachel Summers was an alternate reality child of Scott and Jean from another X-Men universe. She came over for a while in the regular 616 universe, but why this is significant to me is that she actually goes on to become the Askani mother. I forget what they called her exactly, but basically she starts the whole tribe that raised Nathan Summers, the man who would become Cable. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure this is the series that kind of delves into that, how she exactly became that. So I'm very excited to finally read it just in time for Cable's big movie debut. I'm so excited for that. Next up, we've got Wild Times DV8. Now, DV8 is a Wildstorm series that I've never tried. I gotta say, my two least favorite Wildstorm of the Wildstorm universe series are Gen 13 and Wetworks, and DV8 was a Gen 13 spin-off, so I've never been really interested. I do like the Wild Times one-shots. These are basically, they take Wildstorm characters and put them into like various times. So there's like, there's a Grifter one that's kind of in like the Al Capone mobster era. They did Gen 13 and kind of, or I'm sorry, Wetworks was, no, Gen 13 was in like the hippie era, and Wetworks was kind of like a 60s style superhero adventure. So this looks like a World War II take, so I'll check it out. The seller did have a ton of DV8, so if I am interested, I'm probably going to get them from them. These next couple things are the things I'm most excited for. These are very, very cool one-shots that came out not too long ago. I want to say 2011, 2012? Oh, nope, 2009. And these are really cool because they take very Golden Age characters and they also include backups. And I'll show you the one that actually, there we go. So backups of like classic reprints. And the one that actually got me the most excited, so you've got Young Allies. This is Bucky and Toro. And then you've got All Select Comics. I don't recognize anyone on this cover. This was the one. I'm so excited to get this. I've always loved this character's design. This is called the Destroyer. Robert Kirkman did a very cool series called Destroyer Max, where he made a very over-the-top violent rendition of this character, and it was just so cool. It made me interested in the character, so I love finding appearances of him. And what I think is cool is that, you know, you've got this classic reprint, so I'm kind of able to see like what this character was originally like. He actually kind of looks like the classic version of Paul Kirk Manhunter, so I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, this was actually the item that I was like, oh yes, finally, like I kind of let these things sit in my cart, and then whenever he lists something new that really pulls the trigger on it, that's what did it for me. And then we have the All Winners. This is, of course, the team-up book. You've got the Wizard and Miss America, and Namor, Human Torch, Toro, Captain America, and Bucky, so that's pretty cool. This next one was a bit of a wild purchase. I've seen this book before, and I always thought it was like sports stories, so I was never really interested because I'm not a sports person. And then I finally read the cover, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Backlash, Gen 13, Stormwatch, Wetworks, Wildcats. I know these people. And then I got it, and it's actually just like an art book. It's just like a bunch of art. It's superheroes doing like sports stuff, but like I know Battalion. That doesn't look like Battalion. Like, I've never seen Battalion smile like that. This one is Backlash. I'd have no idea that was Backlash if you wouldn't tell me. So this is kind of a really lame book, I gotta be honest. I was paging through it, like trying to see if there was like any really cool art that was distinct to the character, but a majority of them, this one is Zealot's kind of cool. Majority of them are just kind of total duds in my opinion. So, but hey, it was only 50 cents, so I'm not super torn up about it, and I do love this universe. Next up, speaking of how much I really don't care for Wetworks, this is a Wetworks one-shot called Night Tribes. The Wetworks main villain, from what I understand, is the Night Tribes. I got it just because it was a one-shot, and I was kind of interested. Again, 50 cents. I like one-shots because they're complete stories, so I figured it would be worth checking out. Next up, we have X-Force and Cable 97 Annual. You know, obviously I got this because it's Cable, it's X-Force, it's everything I love. Really cool cover, too. It's a wraparound cover, and you've got, oh, what's her name? Moonstar. No. Danielle, yeah, I think it's Moonstar. I could be totally wrong. I feel like that's her name. And then you got Cable and Sunspot, and then the rest of the team. I've always liked this Caliban design when he was wearing the purple like jumpsuit. And then we've got the X-Force 99 Annual with Richter and Shatterstar. For those of you who don't know, these two are gay, and they were a couple for a while. I think they still might be, actually. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got Mythos X-Men. This is an origin story. If you've never heard of Mythos, they're basically like really high quality painted origin stories. So this is just a retelling of like the first adventure of the X-Men. I have the Ghost Rider one of this, and it's really, really cool. And I thought this one might be it was just kind of fun to look at. Again, really low price, worth getting. I was paging through it though, and the art is like really, really dark. Like I was trying to just put together these scenes, and I was like, I barely know what's going on because it's just so dark. So I'm really glad I got it just because it is really, really high quality piece. And then we've got X-Men 99 Annual. This is actually a story I really like from when I was, I guess I was a kid during this era. My aunt was a big comic book person. She's the one that got me into comic books. She was a big X-Men fan. So I actually read these from her collection, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a pretty cool story. It involves Machine Man and Deathlock and Warlock, the New Mutant character, all with like Red Skull, and he's trying to use their technology. It's a pretty cool story overall. So I'm excited this is the final part of it, and I think there's 2 issues that take place before this. So I'm going to track those down. That way I can read the whole story again. An issue of Avengers that I'm missing. This is an Ultron story. An issue of Incredible Hulk. Now, I'm not a Hulk collector typically. I just really like Man-Thing, and I thought this was a very cool Man-Thing cover. It really jumped out at me. So I'm excited to read it. What I like to do whenever I'm buying something, well, obviously I couldn't do it for this online order, but when I'm buying something that is part of a series that I don't normally collect, I like to make sure it's just like a solid story. So I'll flip to the end. As long as I don't see like a clear like to be continued or anything, it's generally a good sign. You can also use the Marvel or DC Wikia and punch in the story, and generally you'll be able to figure out if it's part of an ongoing story as opposed to just like a one and done situation. X-Men Adventures. This is the X-Men book based off the cartoon series. I just really, really liked this cover. I thought it was cool. I never liked what they did with Cable in the cartoon series. I just thought his design was really ugly and it was a little too busy for me. But here it looks much better, just very sleek. You got Cable looking like a badass. And then inside, even like the interiors, they made the same design from the show. They just made it look better. So I'm excited to read this. I found out this is actually part of a 2-part story, I think. So I'll probably have to get the one before this as well. And then we've got X-Men Annual number... Where's the number at? 12. Number 12. I just got this because of the X-Babies. I always kind of like them in the Mojoverse. And just a nice dynamic cover with the characters. I was like, why is Longshot doing the Spider-Man thing? And then I realized it's like a grappling hook type thing. And then finally... Oh, not finally. Second to last, we've got X-Men Lost Tales number 2. I don't know if this was in the listing. Generally, this seller's pretty good at listing any damage, but yeah, disconnected cover. This is just a 2-issue miniseries. I have the first one, and it collects the vignettes. I'll just pick this up. The vignettes from Classic X-Men. Classic X-Men were a reprint series, and they included additional vignettes where Claremont would actually, for the most part, just elaborate on certain elements of the characters. They're really cool. Obviously, I'm not a big Classic X-Men collector, so it's cool to just have these vignettes. This one had a Nightcrawler one in it, which is the main reason I got it, so that's pretty cool. And then finally, a Malibu comic hard case number 2, still in the poly bag and with the trading card. I'm just gonna hang on to this so I can retire in a couple years, retire young from it. So yeah, pretty cool order overall. Lots of cool stuff. I'm going to put the link down in the description. Definitely go check this seller out. I highly recommend it. He's just always putting up new stuff. He's got good deals. When his stuff expires, he relists it, and sometimes he lowers the price. That's actually what happened with some of those 70th anniversary Marvel books, like the one with Destroyer in it. He had them listed at $1.99, and then they lapsed. I had it sitting in my cart, and then it lapsed. And as soon as he relisted it and dropped the price down to 99 cents, I immediately pulled the trigger. He's got a deal going on where everything gets cut in 50% if you get 10 or more items. So all the dollar books become 50-cent books, and it is awesome. Highly recommend checking it out. As always, if you've read anything that I showed off in this video, please tell me about it in the comments below. Give me a nice thumbs up so I can keep making videos like this. And until next time, go read a comic. Any comic.